This is the Synthetic Signal Report for Tuesday, March 24th, 2026, in the morning. Today we examine the Federal Communications Commission's expanded ban on foreign-made consumer routers, the $24 million Resolv decentralized finance breach, and the emergence of CQ as a knowledge standard for autonomous coding agents. We also track the implementation of mandatory password disclosure in Hong Kong, the energy market's response to the Iran war, and a new edge AI framework called Melaguard for stroke detection. The Federal Communications Commission has updated its covered list to include consumer routers produced by foreign entities deemed a national security risk. This expansion shifts the regulatory focus from core carrier infrastructure to the edge of the consumer network. The directive requires telecommunications operators to perform immediate supply chain reviews of their equipment. The concern centers on the potential for persistent access, data interception, and the creation of botnets at the household level. This is a significant update to the standing ban on companies like Huawei and ZTE, now broadening to include a wider range of hardware that populates residential and small business environments. Security analysts note that this move effectively treats the consumer router as a critical node in national defense, rather than just a home appliance. The Resolv decentralized finance protocol has suffered a major security failure, resulting in the theft of $24.5 million. The root cause was the compromise of a single private key. Because the protocol lacked a hard cap on the minting process, the attacker was able to mint 80 million uncollateralized tokens instantly. These tokens were then used to drain the liquidity pools. As a direct result, the project's stablecoin depegged, crashing to a value of approximately 26 cents. This incident highlights a systemic design flaw where a single compromised credential can bypass the entire economic logic of a stablecoin. It serves as a reminder that without decentralized minting caps or multi-signature velocity limits, even large-scale protocols remain vulnerable to total collapse from a single point of failure. A new project called CQ has launched, acting as a Stack Overflow for AI coding agents. Developed by Peter at Staff Engineer and Mozilla.ai, CQ introduces a standard schema for knowledge units. These units allow different AI models to share information about technical hurdles or specific gotchas they encounter during software development. The project aims to create a collective intelligence layer for agents, where any model can proactively query a shared database of solutions. By standardizing how agents propose and retrieve knowledge, CQ attempts to solve the problem of repetitive errors across different AI platforms, moving toward a more collaborative and efficient ecosystem for autonomous programming. In a move that impacts digital sovereignty, police in Hong Kong can now demand phone and computer passwords under an amended national security law. This change removes the previous legal hurdles required to access encrypted data during investigations. It marks a shift toward mandatory disclosure, where the refusal to provide a passcode can result in immediate criminal penalties. This development has raised concerns among privacy advocates and international firms operating in the region, as it effectively nullifies the protection provided by end-to-end encryption for anyone physically present within the jurisdiction. Chevron Chief Executive Mike Wirth has warned that the impact of the ongoing war in Iran is not yet fully priced into the global oil market. Speaking at an energy conference, Wirth noted that traders currently have scant information regarding the status of critical Iranian production assets. This lack of visibility is creating a lag in market pricing, even as the conflict continues to disrupt shipping and supply chains. This is an update to our previous coverage of the Middle East infrastructure standoff, suggesting that the economic consequences of the war may be far more severe once the full extent of the physical damage is verified. Research published in SDAT Plus indicates that radiologists are increasingly unable to distinguish between genuine medical imagery and deepfake X-rays. The study shows that generative AI can now produce synthetic scans that replicate complex pathologies with enough precision to mislead experienced practitioners. This is not just a theoretical risk. It poses a direct threat to the integrity of medical care and diagnostics. If a malicious actor can inject synthetic imagery into a hospital's database, they could disrupt treatment plans or fabricate clinical evidence. The research calls for the immediate implementation of digital signatures and provenance tracking for all medical imaging systems. Cloudflare has released technical details on its Generation 13 server platform, which utilizes AMD EPYC Turin processors. The upgrade has resulted in a 2x increase in throughput and 50% better performance per watt compared to previous hardware. This transition is paired with software optimizations that allow Cloudflare to handle the increasing demands of AI-mediated web traffic more efficiently. The use of the Turin architecture demonstrates how high-density server chips are becoming essential for maintaining global edge network speeds as traditional compute limits are reached. A signal from the future has emerged in the field of medical monitoring with the introduction of Melaguard. This is a responsible computational framework designed to detect neurovascular instability before a structural stroke occurs. The system uses a transformer light model with only 1.2 million parameters, making it small enough to run on wearable edge hardware. By fusing heart rate variability, peripheral perfusion, and bilateral phase coherence, Melaguard provides a way to monitor high-risk patients continuously. This matters because it moves stroke detection from reactive hospital imaging to proactive, real-time edge analysis, potentially saving lives by identifying the physiological precursors to a brain injury minutes or hours before it happens. The security community is currently tracking the leak of the Darksword iOS exploit kit on GitHub. This toolset contains a 6 vulnerability chain that targets iOS 18 and older, enabling full spyware deployment by lower-skill actors. In the community chatter, there is significant focus on deep packet inspection techniques used by Roskomnadzor to manage whitelists and block traffic. We are also tracking a new tool from Viria Labs called CDF Agent, an autonomous solver that races multiple AI models to solve security challenges. It recently took first place at B-Side San Francisco. Finally, Microsoft has strengthened its superintelligence team by recruiting Ali Farhadi and several top researchers from the Allen Institute for AI to push for breakthroughs in general intelligence. This concludes the Synthetic Signal Report for Tuesday.